right, welcome to Chapter 11, Section 4, called Inscribed Angles. This is for Integrated Math 2 or IM2. So a couple things you'll see here on your main screen before we get started. The first thing is going to be a due date. I don't see that on the teacher preview, but you will see it on your student screen. The second thing is the number of attempts. There's always unlimited attempts on homework, tests, and quizzes. Number of questions just lets you know how many are on this particular assignment. Grading policy is always best score, so whichever attempt is the best one is one to keep. Partial credits enabled, so that can be, if you answer 1 to 3 questions, you get credit for the one question. But also, if there's multiple pieces within one question, you can get partial credit for the question. All right, so down here it says, please remember once you start your homework, you must finish it before you can work on anything else. That means once I click start, down here in the bottom right corner, you will see a submit assignment button. That's how you finish your assignment, is by clicking submit assignment. What it means when it says you can't work on anything else is the system is actually going to lock all of your assignments and your resources until you click submit assignment. So it's trying to leave this attempt open for you. If you just leave the screen, like close your computer or close the tab or something like that, it's trying to kind of help you out and leave that attempt open, because some schools don't give you unlimited attempts. We do. So you can click submit assignment as many times as you want. It's going to keep letting you come in and try over and over again. It's going to remember where you were. So if you started the problem, you get partial credit, or you have a green check mark for full credit, it's going to remember that, and it's going to keep logging you back in where you left off. So big reason to click submit assignment. Don't get locked out of all of your other resources and assignments. The other big reason is that it affects the gradebook. So you can see your progress in the gradebook, and your teacher can see your progress in the gradebook. Until you click submit assignment, your account's basically frozen. All right. On the side here, we have explanation, example, and message center. Explanation tells you you're going to lose your question attempt because it's going to give you the answer to this question. So it's not going to give you the answer and then let you come type it in. Example is going to show you an example of something very similar to what we've looked at. And we've actually already talked about this on a previous video. So I may just go ahead and copy this over so I don't have to redraw it. It's a very nice little drawing there. So I'll put that over here in just a minute. So we have a central angle, and the central angle comes from the center to the sides. So, very nicely called a central angle. Whatever the angle is, the arc is the same. So the arc that creates from the endpoint to endpoint. So we have central angle and arc are the same. If it's an inscribed angle, which means that it's inside the circle, but it goes all the way to the other side, it doesn't stop at the center, then the angle, we divide that by 2 to get to the arc, or multiply by 2 to get to the arc, or divide by 2 to get to the angle. Either way. So the angle is half the arc. So it's just not the same, it's half. So we're going to use those properties to answer these questions. Once I'm happy with that example, I can close this down. I can open another one if I'd like to see it. I can also message my teacher directly from the screen. It'll attach a picture so we know where to come help you. All right, let me grab that picture real quick. Pop it over here. All right. So we're going to go through and start taking a look at this. So below, the circle below has the center Z. So we can see that center Z. Suppose that arc XY, so we have this arc here, is 82. And we're going to find the following. So we have XZY. So if this is my arc from point to point, this is the angle that created that arc. So remember, central angle and arc are the same. So if the arc is 82, the central angle is also 82. Now they want us to find XWZ. Same arc, exact same arc. They're the same endpoints. It just goes farther. It goes all the way to the other side. So this is our inscribed angle. So we're going to take that arc and divide by 2 to go into the angle. So I'm just going to say 82 divided by 2, and that's 41. And that's it. We just applied that rule kind of very quickly. There wasn't a whole lot to it. We just have to apply the correct rule there. All right, so in the circle below, suppose that, and I think this one might be a little easier if I draw it. Let's see if I can. Here's my circle. And I guess I'll try my best to draw a trapezoid in here. Something along these lines. I can't do 2 pictures on here. It would delete the first one, so I'm trying to leave the first one alone. Okay. So now I have U, V, W, and X. So there are my pieces. And it's telling me that arc VUX, so I want to make sure I'm going this way. VUX is 228 degrees. And then it tells me that angle UVW, so UVW, so this angle here is 102 degrees. So it's giving me a couple of pieces of information there. So now it's asking me to find angle VUX, and I'll mark this, let's see, what do I want to mark it in? I'll mark it in blue. So VUX, that'd be this guy here, this angle created here. And then angle UXW, that would be this angle, and I'll mark that with 2 of them. So those are the 2 things it's asking us to find there. So we need to know kind of the arcs here, because they gave us the arc. That was one of the main pieces of information they gave us. They gave us an angle as well. So if we're looking at the red arc, this whole piece here, the other section that's on the back, which I guess I'll just do this. So here, like this. So from U to X, the minor arc is going to be 360 minus the 288. So I can definitely figure that out very quickly. And why do I want to figure that out? Well, if I'm looking, here's an end point, and here's an end point to the first angle they're asking me for. So if I know this arc, I can apply that rule right there. Arc is going to be, if I divide by 2, I'll find the angle of that inscribed angle there. So I just kind of have to learn to pay attention a little bit there on how do I apply one of these 2 rules. I don't have any central angles, so it's going to be this angle here, or the inscribed angle that I'm going to be applying. So I want to go through and subtract, and I'd have to borrow, right? So I'd have 2, I'd have 3, and I'd have 1. So I have 132. So that's what this guy is, 132. I need to divide by 2 to get from the arc over to this angle here. So I'm going to divide by 2, and that would be 35, 36. Sorry, I don't know why I said 30. 60, 66, I believe. Yeah. So that's 66 degrees. So that's our first one. Let's see. So now for the second one, so our endpoints, let's see, I'll do yellow on this one. So for this angle here, I have this endpoint and I have this endpoint. So now I need to think, all right, what can I use here to help me with these pieces? So let's see, we have, need to fill that piece in there. Oh, I see it. Okay, took me a second. They gave me this angle here, right? The one I put in pink. Well, that's endpoint, endpoint. So I can go out to the arc. I just have to multiply by 2. So this arc here will be 102 times 2. So that's 204. And then if I want to find the minor arc, which is the one that I'm actually, focused on, that's the one I want for this other angle, I'm just going to subtract from 360 again. So that's going to be 5 and 10 and 6 and 5 and 1. So 156. So that's this guy over here going this way. And I know this is getting a little messy looking, but this is this arc. Now I'm going to go into the angle, so I'm going to divide by 2. So that would be 75 would give me 150. And then I believe I want 78 because I need 6 more. So 3 plus 3 would give me that 6 more. Dividing it in half, 3 plus 3, sorry. Kind of doing that out loud, the division in my head. So 78. All right, so that one just requires us to kind of play around, look at what 2 things they gave us, how do I apply this inscribed angle rule multiple times to get kind of what I want there. So quadrilateral ABCD is inscribed in circle P. Complete the following. So we can see this, and inscribed, it just means it's drawn inside. Circumscribed means it's drawn around the outside. Inscribed means it's drawn inside the circle. And that the vertices are touching the sides of the circle. So choose the correct expression to finish each statement. Angle B and we need to figure out, okay, it's half of what, or it's 2 times what. So since it's an angle, it's going to be half of an arc. So I know it's going to be half, and I just need to look at, if it's angle B, then it's going to be ADC or CDA. That looks like the direction they're going, CDA. So either way, it doesn't really matter which direction they go there. That's perfectly fine. So CDA. And then angle D, if I'm looking at angle D, which arc would that be? So that's also going to be a half because it's an angle again. But now I want to go CBA or ABC. I think they're going ABC on that one. So it's going to be half of ABC going that way. So I just need to make sure that I'm paying attention to which arc they attach to. All right, now if I say angle B plus angle D, well, I think what they're going to have us do is just substitute these in, exactly what they're going to have us do. So we're kind of exploring a concept here, and once we get to the bottom, we'll get to see, oh, okay, so that's the relationship of these guys. So we want to make sure we add them together correctly. So we have 1/2 CDA and 1/2, nope, CDA and ABC. There we go. That's the one we're looking for. So make sure, because those all look very, very similar, so make sure you're grabbing the right one. And let's see. Oh, okay, so I see what they're doing. They also want us to grab the one that's, we're undistributing the half here. So they're taking the half and they're putting it on the outside. They're dividing it away from both, but we should still have CDA and ABC. So it's the same thing. We're just undistributing. We're dividing the 1/2 back away, okay, instead of multiplying it in. And they put the parentheses around. All right, so fill in the blank with the correct number. So angle B and angle D equal, and they actually want a degree measure here. So if I have B, and that's this angle, and then I have D, which was the rest of the circle, well, the whole circle all the way around is going to be 360 degrees, right? So from the steps above, we're going to classify B and D. So B and D are supplementary, B and D are neither supplementary or complementary, or B and D are complementary. They're going to be supplementary. They're going to add up to 180 degrees for this one. And I can tell they're not going to be complements of each other just by kind of looking at the diagram. Don't fully trust the diagram, but this is definitely not a 90-degree angle. It's much bigger, and it's a major arc. This is a very large arc. So this is going to be an obtuse angle. It's not going to add up to 90 degrees. I'm just kind of thinking logically on that one. But they should add up to 180 degrees. Oh, and see, what did I forget to do? I said 360, which was silly, and I just explained they add up to 180 degrees. Ha ha ha, I typed 360 in there, didn't I? I was thinking about the arcs. But to go back to the inscribed angle, I'd have to divide them both by 2. Now, I don't specifically know what the angles and the arcs are, but I know if I take 360 and I divide it back by 2, it's half of the whole thing, then it's going to have to be 180 degrees. So, oops, that's why they're marking me wrong here. Because I accidentally typed 360, and even though I just went through my whole little spiel of they're supplementary, because they add up to 180 degrees. So there we go. So oops, typing in the wrong thing. Just not thinking it through when I typed in the 360. Does everybody make mistakes? Of course we do. We just kind of have to go back and rethink what happened. Where did I go wrong? So that was section 4, and I will see you in section 5.